All right, Smirnoff. Official vodka of the NFL, the world's #1 vodka. Here's the deal. Game day is everything. The noise, the rituals, the passion, the dip, the wings, the dip again. Smirnoff belongs in that mix because if you're tailgating or hosting or just sitting there checking your fantasy lineup every 30 seconds, you need Smirnoff. Otherwise, it's not a real game day. They've been doing this since 1864, which is, I don't even want to do the math, a long time. They're award-winning, they make cocktails super easy, and they're all about bringing fans together. So yeah, we do game days. That's their thing. And if you're over 21, you should too. Grab a bottle of Smirnoff at your local retailer and head to Smirnoff.com to find recipes of delicious cocktails perfect for game day. Please drink responsibly. Smirnoff, #21 vodka. Distilled from grain. 40% alcohol by volume. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. Please do not share with anyone under legal drinking age.
Now's a good time to remember where tequila's story truly began. In 1795, Cuervo invented tequila.
Cuervo.
What are you doing here?
Cuervo. Anytime someone says Cuervo, I show up.
Well, I do know that to be true, but even during ad reads, like...
Cuervo.
I think you could lay out, especially for one of our great partners.
Sweet, delicious Cuervo.
Since then, Cuervo has stayed true to its roots. The same family, the same land, the same passion.
Cuervo.
So, enjoy the tequila that started it all. Cuervo.
Cuervo.
The tequila that invented tequila. Proximo. Cuervo.com. Please drink responsibly.
Cuervo.
At Sierra, discover great deals on top brand workout gear, like high-quality walking shoes, which might lead to another discovery.
40,000 steps, baby. Who's on top now, Karen?
You've taken the office step challenge a step too far. Don't worry, though. Sierra also has yoga gear. It might be a good place to find your zen. Discover top brands at unexpectedly low prices. Sierra, let's get moving.
Pablo. Again, he's got the Clippers PR staff up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
This is just laughable. This is as bumbling a situation for the Clippers as you could find. Every time they have a clapback to Pablo's reporting, why is Pablo sitting? Like, he's had the nuts this whole time? Like, what is this? Or is it just... with every pushback from the Clippers and Mark Cuban, more sources reach out with more evidence. At this point, it's laughable that the NBA investigation is going to go beyond this All-Star game so they can keep it at their fancy new arena. They're dead to rights.
Allegedly. I'm assuming that this was dropped purposely on Clippers Media Day. I don't know. But he is slow playing it. That is for sure. Like, he has all of the information and no one else has access to the information, and it's too entangled for anyone else in the media to actually try to catch up. And so everyone else is behind, including the NBA. It's not just the Clippers. It's Silver, it's the NBA, and you've noticed that the statements from the Clippers have gotten weaker and weaker as they've gone on, because now they're just afraid, because it is rare for a reporter to have this kind of confidence in his reporting again and again and again.
Verifiably false, Dan.
Provably false is what they opened with. They opened with the statement provably false because they thought they were dealing with the normal media and there would just be one time. But Pablo's not going to let go of this bone. If you guys thought he was excessive with the Belichick stuff getting in clicks, what do you think he's going to do with this stuff? Because Pablo is governed by journalism very high on the list, but higher on the list is how does he get attention for Pablo? Like that's the highest governance. It's ahead of, I know most humans would argue that survival is the greatest instinct. For Pablo, the greatest instinct is how do I get attention?
Should we quickly go over the bullet points from this most recent Pablo drop for the uninitiated? It is a football Monday. People are groggy from an overtime draw that had a combined 80 points in it.
I somehow lost money betting on that game, even though all I bet was huge offensive explosion all over the place, because I bet the Packers winning.
But if you had that in parlays, it's a push.
I did. I learned that last night. I did not know that last night because the way that I had always done that before is that a tie ends up with your money getting reduced on the parlay. You don't win the parlay, but I learned last night that you actually win the parlay. This is what happens when I use an old school bookie, as I had to before gambling became something that was more normalized. And so I realized in real time last night, thinking that I had lost, that my bookie had been ripping me off for years because I did not know that a tie was a win in parlay.
What are you going to do about that?
He uses a bookie responsibly.
I used to. Not anymore. Now that you have DraftKings, you don't have to do shady alleys behind a Walgreens anymore.
You just go across state lines every weekend.
I used to just drop off an envelope because I was never picking one up. I used to just drop off an envelope at a cigar shop to keep distance between myself.
I know that guy.
Armando.
Yeah.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
I will ask you guys in a moment to tell me where it is that you believe we should start the show after that football weekend, because I thought the college football was again better than the pro football, and it started Friday night with 2 games, not 1, and I don't want the Friday night games to get lost just because a weekend happened. But I'll get to the football in a second and ask your guys' judgment on where it is you believe we should start, because I don't want to start with the most recent game that was a tie and an offensive explosion, because I didn't think it was the most interesting of the games yesterday, nor of the weekend, because I really found college football interesting this weekend. But I want to start with what is the biggest story locally, and it's not Jeremy at Heat Media Day. We'll check in with him there, but I don't think I'll ask him Heat questions. I'll ask him Panther questions and Marlins questions, because we again did the annual Marlins ruin the Mets season. Are the Mets always scheduled the last few games of the Marlins season? Because this is an unusual thing to have the Marlins wrecking an unusual number of Mets seasons. I mean, the Mets can't feel good about losing their season when they've got Soto and they're losing to Wagaman and Norby. Tony, look up for me, please. Outside of Sandy, what the Marlins are paying everybody, and if it comes close to what Soto is making, just what they're paying everyone outside of Sandy on the payroll, because I think the Mets should be really embarrassed by what it is that happened yesterday. But locally, and I don't want to get too far from this story, even though I know people are tired of the way we talk about the Panthers and hockey around here, but we've got the 2-time defending champions, and this is a seismic injury. And the worst news, I think this is legitimately the worst news the Panthers could get, an ACL tear and an MCL tear for Barkov that will make him at least miss the regular season. And I'm not going to assume that you could just flip a switch and stop McDavid in the playoffs because Barkov will get back and be exactly himself. I imagine that Roy and Zaz are crushed by what it is that happened here, because I legitimately can't think of a bigger injury that could happen locally. This is the most damaging thing that could possibly happen to a 2-time defending champion, to have a player this versatile go down on a non-contact injury and have it be both ACL and MCL, which you know is going to be a monster rehab.
The only thing worse would have been like if he had his head chopped off.
Yeah, it would have been bad.
Like that's the only thing worse.
Yeah. Well, hockey players can play through that. Yeah. ACL and MCL will knock you out for the season, but the torso of Barkov could still neutralize McDavid.
I was trying to think of like what is a local injury that made me feel the way the end of last week did. Like maybe it was when Dwayne Wade got hurt in 2005 in the Eastern Conference Finals. You know, he missed Game 6. He had to be shot up. He was only good in the second half of Game 7. That was really terrible. The Dolphins haven't had an injury like this. I mean, Tannehill got hurt that one year, but it's like, whatever. It's Tannehill. I mean, you go back to Marino in 1992, 1993. This to me, this is as devastating an injury I have felt in a really long time. I was so bummed on Friday last week.
Yeah, I mean, the best player on the back-to-back defending champions just got hurt, and he might be done for the season. So, yeah, that is a devastating injury. But this team is deep enough to actually make the playoffs, and who knows how far they might go without him.
I don't know. It's hard making the playoffs in that league, man. I don't think it's a given. Don't forget, Kachuk is out till January. Like, I don't know that it's a given that they're going to be a playoff
They're
team.
very deep, and that depth is going to be tested. The Panther team that won last year is as great a champion of any kind as we've had in sports. It was stronger than their first champion, and the reason it was so strong is because of their depth. But it's going to take 90-plus points to make the playoffs, and yes, you're correct that the top half of hockey is very strong, and there are no assurances that you're going to make the playoffs. And again, I don't believe that you can simply rehab and then start with playoff intensity hockey and expect Barkov to be exactly the same player.
Oh, like you're holding out that he's going to just show up and play in the playoffs.
Well,
I'm not.
I'm hoping that there's a look. Hockey players are weird, and playoff hockey people play through. You heard Maurice tell us last week what people were playing through, so I assume he will try because of what it is these guys have put together, and because he will never get a chance again in the entirety of his career. And there are probably 0 players in the league who will ever get the chance to win 3 straight titles.
It's a damn shame because I like their chances. And Zaz is right. I know we invoked McDavid. That's like 2 months into the playoffs. Like, I think it's going to be a real battle to get into the playoffs. They play in the hardest division in hockey with ascending teams. You know, you have the Lightning and you have the Maple Leafs in that division, but teams like the Red Wings and Ottawa are certainly on the come up, on the ascension there. It's going to be a real struggle for this team without Matthew Tkachuk for most of the season, and without the best two-way player in the game in Alexander Barkov to make the playoffs. They are deep enough to make it. There are wild cards in that sport. We'll see.
I hate injuries.
Yeah, it's a 7 and 9 month timeline. Even the most aggressive has them like iffy for that first round of the playoffs. This is a really bad injury, and it's an injury that every other contender in the NHL in both conferences maybe just.
I would give him my knee if it meant he would. Would you give him your knee?
I would give him.
I would give him my knee. I'd give him both my knees, and I would merge my 2 knees into one super knee, and I would give that to him.
And an elbow.
Yeah, they all pump their fists under the table. This is huge for the rest of the NHL.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Did McDavid pump a fist quietly under the table when he heard of the injury? Yes or no? Because I understand what you're saying. There's a lot involved before you get to McDavid, and a lot has to happen for both of those teams to end up in the Stanley Cup final. But the reason Barkov is what he is to me is because I've seen no other human being on earth who exists who can neutralize McDavid. That is not something that any other team in the league has in its toolbox. And so when Zaz says this is comparable to Dan Marino going down with an Achilles tear when you knew the moment that it happened, oh no, there goes everything. And Dan Marino wasn't any kind of champion. It was just you knew you had a competitive chance, and Barkov gives you Barkov being healthy makes you know, yeah, they're probably going to get into the playoffs no matter how hard it is. Barkov not being healthy makes you scared. Zaz says that he was bummed and that he was sick. I had no evidence of that from video that was sent to me by sources. I, too, am a journalist. Zaslow's not the only journalist around here. On the Georgia campus, I'm guessing, we have footage here of Zaslow doing what I believe is Pilates for the first time.
Oh, come on.
Have you done Pilates before?
What makes you think that I've never done Pilates?
Where is this exactly? Is it on campus? How did this happen? And who do I have to? Is Amber Wilson the source of this material?
What a snitch. You know what happens to snitches, right? They get hurt.
They give videos to our show that lead the show because you said you were bummed and I don't have evidence. Is this how you get out you're bummed here?
This is outside. This is right next to where they're filming SEC Nation and the Paul Feinbaum show. And they were doing Pilates, SEC Nation Pilates. And I decided, you know what? I got to get my stretch on. And I laid down with the nice young ladies and did what I do. If there's one thing everybody knows about me, it's I like to get my stretch on.
Have you done Pilates before? Or is that the first time? Pilates.
First time, Dan.
Core strength. Everyone else has a blanket and a mat. You do not have a blanket or a mat.
I raw dog my Pilates.
You what?
Raw dog them.
Oh.
I also got other information from a source, and I want to know if this is true. You correctly picked Alabama.
Sure did.
On your show.
Yep.
Get some of the bass out of your voice, because what I'm about to reveal, according to sources here, suggests that you're a bit of a fraud. I was told that a Georgia fan approached you. So this is true. That sounds like confirmation, even if you take the fit. I was told a Georgia fan approached you and asked you who you thought was going to win the game before the game, and you said Georgia after publicly.
This is such bullshit. Okay, I mean that girl is a vixen, ratting me out. All right,
I didn't reveal my source.
Who else could it have been?
A Jezebel.
Who else could it have been? You're right. That Jezebel,
A harlot.
Amber Wilson, just ratting me out.
So you did do that then. You're confirming that.
So you know what? I am confirming. This is not the face of a liar, so you know what? I will confirm it. When I made my pick at the end of College Football Campus Tour on ESPN Radio, I correctly held up the Alabama helmet. That's right. That takes some balls, Dan, to say that Alabama is going to snap the longest home winning streak in the nation and the longest in SEC history. But I did it. That's right, because I'm not scared. But when we got to the stadium, a Georgia fan rolled up on me and was like, "Hey, what do you think tonight? Who's going to win?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, Georgia, close game." I'm not, whatever, man. Like, I'm not trying to get into it.
I thought you said you're not scared.
Yeah, but, like, I wasn't trying to get into it, so whatever, man.
Okay, so you are scared.
All I said was I'm not trying to get into it. Take that however you please.
Okay.
That is the answer that prohibits him getting into it.
Yeah. I want to talk about home security for a minute. For the longest time, I thought it was just alarms and sirens, that once somebody breaks in, you deal with it. But when you think about it, that's already too late. That's reactive. I had my car broken into on my property a while back. The only thing I could do was call 911. That's reactive. I don't like leaving things up to chance. That's why I decided to install SimpliSafe. Why? Because they flipped the idea of home security by making it proactive. Their ActiveGuard outdoor protection uses AI-powered cameras to actually identify people lurking around your property. And here's the key. SimpliSafe's monitoring agents step in before anything goes down. They'll talk directly to intruders through the camera, light them up with spotlights, and even call the cops if they need to. That's not reacting. That's stopping crime before it starts. No contracts, no hidden fees. That's why they've been named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. And they back it up with a 60-day money-back guarantee. SimpliSafe is offering Le Batard Show listeners 50% off a new system with professional monitoring. Plus, your first month is free. Visit SimpliSafe.com/DLB to claim the offer. That's SimpliSafe.com/DLB. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
On Fox One, you can stream your favorite live sports so you're there for the biggest moments as they happen. For me, I cannot deal with spoilers, so I need to see it live, especially on college football Saturdays and NFL Sundays. With Fox One, you get it all. NASCAR, the MLB postseason, edge-of-your-seat plays, jaw-dropping moments, and that rush like you're right there in the action. Sports are meant to be watched live, and you can do that with Fox One. Fox One, we live for live, streaming now.
Hey friends, crack open Hampton Farms in-shell peanuts for the crunch you crave. Try their salted, unsalted, and Cajun hot nuts with 7 grams of protein per serving. More than any other nut. Find Hampton Farms in the produce section or online at hamptonfarms.com.
Dan Le Batard.
I've never stepped foot on that campus. If you told me right now your life depends on it, go to Santa Fe University and just take a picture.
Stugotz.
I would die. I don't know where it is.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
I want to talk about that Alabama-Georgia game. It had one play above all others that I want to talk about, which is throwing a screen pass to the 340-pound guy and then watching him run 10 yards like 6th graders were trying to grab him because he just kept moving the pile all the way to the goal line. But before I do that, Tony, can you give me the stats, please, on salaries with the Marlins as it relates to just Juan Soto? Because, again, the Marlins just ended a disastrous Mets season that is now now being proclaimed a failure by their own voices. They're saying what an epic failure it is because they spent so much money trying to make the playoffs. And after the Guardians and the Tigers clinch on Saturday, the Marlins just ruined the entire Mets season on the last day. The Mets go out with a whimper. They don't score a single run. Keith Hernandez and Gary Cohen are whimpering in the broadcast booth. What numbers do you have for me, Tony?
So Dan, his salary, Soto's salary in 2025 is $61 million. The Marlins payroll for the entire team is $67 million. If you take out Sandy from that, he makes $17 million. Now you have $50 million for the rest of the players. There's nobody else on the active roster except for Edward Cabrera, who makes $1 million. Everybody else, other than Edward Cabrera, who makes almost $2 million, makes 1.9, everybody else makes less than $800,000. You have to get $1 million. You find Braxton Garrett, who's on the injured list, and Anthony Bender. Those are the only two other guys on the team that make $1 million. So 3 guys make $1 million. Sandy makes 17. Soto makes 61.
Do you know how great it is to knock out Francisco Lindor, Pete Alonso, Juan Soto with Norby? It's so good. And here's Keith Hernandez, who is wonderfully bitter, okay? Keith Hernandez, I love listening to him because he's just sour. And here he is finding the only way he can to rip the Marlins because he's just disgusted with the Mets, and he's the broadcaster who comes home from a bad day at work and kicks the dog.
The three-man booth. Gary Cohen's in there. I think he's the one that spits the most poison here.
I'm watching the Marlins. They just took a team picture in front of their dugout like they're going to the postseason.
Oh, this was their World Series.
Oh,
yep, they took 2 out of 3, knocked the Mets out of the postseason. You saw the Reds celebrating in Milwaukee.
Oh, that's loser talk. It was explained to me, by the way, by Jeremy, that this is a Marlins tradition all season long. They always take a group photo anytime they win. Now, this was the first time all season that the entire team took a photo, and the Mets clearly took exception to that.
It's usually the stars of the game that take a picture in front of the dugout. This time it was the whole team, and it's only because it was the end of the season, the end of the Mets season. Specifically, the end of the Mets season is what the three-man booth of the Mets think. No, it was just the end of the season. They're saying goodbye to each other, and they're ending with the perfect punctuation of just befouling. Those stats that Tony gave, that's crazy, is it not? To think that the Marlins, what'd the Marlins do? Finish like 4 games behind the Mets and ruin their season.
That's a great season for the Marlins.
Oh my God, is it a good season for the Marlins? In fact, you'll find very few ever in the history of South Florida that exceeded expectations more than this one, except maybe the pandemic season where they made the playoffs on a 30-31 record because they played only 61 games.
The Girardi season also surpassed wild expectations. Marlins are good for the occasional surprise. It's a funny little sport. I learned yesterday that the Reds were good enough to make the playoffs.
Girardi won, I think, 84 games and Manager of the Year, and it was an enormous surprise, and then they fired him. That's the way the Marlins end up doing business. Where would you guys, before we get to the Hampton Farms nuttiest fan, where, Tony, would you start? If you could only pick one game from the entire weekend where you would start today's show, what would you think is the most important one?
Dan, wow, what an incredible weekend of games. We had Friday games, Saturday games, Sunday games. I'm probably going to start with the biggest news out of the entire weekend, which is Bad Bunny's hosting the Super Bowl halftime show. We didn't talk about that. It's been 15 minutes into the game. And 15 minutes into the show, we haven't even mentioned the biggest thing on the planet, which is the biggest artist on the planet is now gracing the Super Bowl halftime show, which is going to be unreal. Dan, that's where I'd start. You want me to do 15 minutes there or no?
No, thank you. You keep saying, though, you keep saying that Bad Bunny is the biggest
He's
artist
the biggest artist on the planet. I said that 5 years ago, and it still rings true today.
Put it on the poll at Batard Show. Biggest artist on the planet. Is it Bad Bunny or is it Taylor Swift? Because I thought it was Taylor Swift. I didn't think that Bad Bunny had...
Do you listen to Bad Bunny, Dan?
Some, but I don't listen to Taylor Swift either that much, and I know that Taylor Swift sells out places in a way that Bad Bunny does not. No knock on Bad Bunny. She's just got a following that I thought was larger. Am I wrong on this?
You could be wrong.
I would bet dollars to donuts that you're wrong. Let me run the old search there.
Okay, you can look it up. And how are you doing this? You're doing this in sales?
By streaming numbers, because, look, Bad Bunny has an advantage here. I mean, Anglos like his music, and he sings exclusively in Spanish, so he has access to parts of the globe that Taylor Swift doesn't.
Yeah, I don't know what he's saying when he's singing, but I like the way it sounds.
What would be your nominations, Zaslow, for the place that you would start today's show if you were talking about one thing of all things from the weekend?
I think it's Chiefs-Ravens. I mean, I was in Athens this weekend for Georgia, Alabama. It was awesome, all right? And there was some real good college football action over the weekend. Ole Miss, really good stuff. But what Virginia did Friday night. But that Chiefs-Ravens game was a shocker because I don't care Xavier where they played. I would have thought I would have guessed anything that the Chiefs were about to fall to 1-3. Maybe the Ravens aren't any good.
Well, their defense is bad and hurt, okay? So they've allowed more points. Their defense has allowed more points than any team in the league, and that's on a schedule that includes the Cleveland Browns. Last year, they were the healthiest defense in the entire league, and it showed this year, while I'm watching that game, there were players on the field for the Ravens that Nance did not know their names. Like, he's just saying...
That's his job.
It is his job, but they're so hurt that he's like, and the backup makes the tackle there, and he didn't know who it was. Let me give you some numbers because they only had 7 games missed by defensive starters last year, and this year they're the most injured team. One of the reasons that is so shocking yesterday is because a month ago against the Bills, through 3.5 quarters, we all would have looked at the Ravens and said, whoa, that looks like the best team in the league. Obviously, the Eagles are that, and they've got metronome excellence now that won't make them the starting point today, even though they've won 20 of 21, and that hasn't been done in 20 years in the sport since the Patriots were dominating it. But the other thing that made yesterday shocking is that Lamar Jackson hasn't been beaten by more than one score since 2021. Like the Ravens, since Lamar Jackson became good, you talk about Barkov. Since Lamar Jackson started playing well, that team is always competitive if he's playing. You never blow out the Ravens, but their defense is in total disarray. Do you know what it's like for me to say that that's a worse defense than the Dolphins' defense, which I believe to be historically bad because they've allowed a good deal more points than every team in the league?
I thought that Lamar Jackson stat was weird, and the first thing that I thought of when I saw it was, okay, it's obviously great to be in close games. You always have a chance, but does that stat make Lamar Jackson look bad? Because then it's like, do you take from that, he's not necessarily always great in close games if they always lose close games?
Well, famously, when they're ahead against quality competition, they tend to open that back door up more than most teams. Really strange online discourse around Lamar Jackson because initially there were reports that he just got benched and then it was a hamstring injury, but he's not on the sideline getting active treatment, so it looks weird, leading to a lot of people online saying, did this guy ask out of the game? Was he actually benched due to his performance?
My son ran into the Zaslow Mansion fan and said, Lamar Jackson just quit.
The biggest question of the entire year is, what album is he going to play most songs from, right? Like, he's got 17 different albums that are so great. Is it going to be Debí tirar más fotos, which he's taking on a world tour now? That one's good. You like that one, Zaz?
Yeah, I like that one.
Okay, that one's good. We have Un Verano Sin Ti, which is probably one of his biggest albums ever. We've got Nadie Sabe. Like, there's so many, Dan. How many songs are there in a set for the Super Bowl?
I don't know, but
15, 20?
I would be losing my donuts to Dan's dollars because Taylor Swift is streamed more than Bad Bunny.
That doesn't matter, though. Like, those are numbers. Numbers lie all the time.
But I mean, undoubtedly,
Bad Bunny's the biggest artist on the planet.
Well, okay, well, depending on the metrics.
Metrics are the vibes, and the vibes are he's the biggest artist on the planet.
Vibes, I'm with you.
Are they creating, hold on really quick, are they creating whatever Taylor does on stage? I don't know if she does something like graphically or if there's some sort of like set design for Taylor. Are they doing that at bars in Little Havana? Like Casita, like they are at Casatiki with Bad Bunny? The answer is no.
How about this Albert Breer tweet? This is the first time I've never heard of the Super Bowl halftime act.
Why, guys? Why?
That's stupid.
I mean, why would you put that out there,
stupid.
Albert?
Come on.
Stop it.
Moron.
That's really bad. There is a debate around this Bad Bunny thing that I'm not super comfortable with. Jay-Z and Rock Nation are tasked with booking the act. Headed into this year, I was like, well, there's only one answer to who should perform at halftime. No, I was actually going to say Metallica, Bay Area icons.
That'd have been awesome.
But then I saw the news for Bad Bunny, and I was like, brava, this is a perfect artist in an important time. And this is probably the only one that I would find really acceptable to knock Metallica, who I think is deserving over the course of their careers in that home area to be performing. I'm super pumped.
You guys
about
got people are going to get fired up for Metallica, you think?
Metallica would have put on an incredible. Even if you weren't fired up going into, you would watch and be like, "This is awesome."
I mean, they're cattle. I know one thing is for sure. Albert Breer's heard of them.
Sure he has.
Put it on the poll, please, at Le Batard Show. Do you know anyone who says brava instead of bravo? And put it also on the poll. Are you surprised that Albert Breer has never heard of Bad Bunny? It seems
he's
hard.
the guy that watches Saturday Night Live, so I feel like he's a liar. That's his age demo is like, I'm locked in on Saturday Night Live. I'll watch who's this Bad Bunny guy. Oh, I don't like him. Okay. But don't say you had never heard of him.
Multiple-time host and musical guest. Bad Bunny, everyone knows Bad Bunny.
Albert Breer evidently doesn't know Bad Bunny. What would you select, Mike Ryan, if you can only select one place to start today, one game to start today? What would be your selection?
Well, given what's been pulled off the board, I think applying just a top-line macro sense of what's big in sports, I'd get into the Ryder Cup a little bit and how much Europe seemed to really enjoy that and how poorly the U.S. fans behaved during the entire weekend. Honestly, that you know how Zaslow finds Inter Miami unlikable? Yeah. That's about how I felt about USA Golf right from the jump. And the fans kind of took their notes from the top, it would appear, from people that have covered the Ryder Cup, legacy media guys that have been around this competition plenty of times. They said that they've never seen fan behavior.
Well, it's like, what were they doing? Just yelling stuff?
They weren't just yelling stuff. They were yelling stuff that was crossing the line. Shane Lowry almost got into a fight with somebody, had to get security there. Rory McIlroy is pointing to multiple people saying, bleep you, bleep you, bleep you. These guys certainly, look, it's a weird sport to hear about trash talk surrounding one of the big events. But Europe was absolutely pissed at the treatment they received. There was a signature drink that they were selling that had a squeaky rubber duck that seemed like a bad idea. And at that hole, all these people in the gallery were squeaking the rubber duck to whenever a European guy was at the tee box. This was bad. And to cap off a really bizarre weekend of social media behavior from our president, he couldn't even tell that he was being directly trolled by Europe when they invoked a European soccer champ asking Donald Trump, "Are you watching?" And he reposted on Truth, "I am watching. Congratulations." Clearly not getting it.
Let's get to some of the sound from that. Let's check in with, as Stugotz likes to call him, because he's a little bit dyslexic, Rory McIlroy.
With all that in mind, everything you go through, how satisfying is it to turn around to someone and say, quote, "Shut the F up," and then stiff it to 2 feet? Very satisfying. Congratulations.
It wasn't stiff. I had to put it.
I cannot tell you how bizarre it is to see the country club unruly. Like, golf is so much about...
Do you hear those laughs, Dan?
It was just cool, a fun atmosphere, but there was one stand-up report that I saw, like, guys, this isn't the Waste Management Open, though. There is a certain dignity that comes with a Ryder Cup. I can't do anything with that. Yeah, it's effectively bullying me off the topic.
But it's wonderful that he's doing it, because hearing the golfers in the country club...
It's really pushing me off the topic.
Hey, yo.
It's like hearing Parliament do it. It's weird.
Eczema isn't always obvious, but it's real. And so is the relief from Ebglyss. After an initial dosing phase, about 4 in 10 people taking Ebglyss achieved itch relief and clear or almost clear skin at 16 weeks. And most of those people maintain skin that's still more clear at 1 year with monthly dosing.
Ebglyss, lebrikizumab LBKZ, a 250 milligram per 2 milliliter injection, is a prescription medicine used to treat adults and children 12 years of age and older who weigh at least 88 pounds or 40 kilograms with moderate to severe eczema, also called atopic dermatitis, that is not well controlled with prescription therapies used on the skin or topicals, or who cannot use topical therapies. Ebglyss can be used with with or without topical corticosteroids. Don't use if you're allergic to Ebglyss. Allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Eye problems can occur. Tell your doctor if you have new or worsening eye problems. You should not receive a live vaccine when treated with Ebglyss. Before starting Ebglyss, tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection.
Searching for real relief? Ask your doctor about Ebglyss and visit ebglyss.lilly.com or call 1-800-LILY-RX or 1-800-545-5979.
When did making plans get this complicated? It's time to streamline with WhatsApp, the secure messaging app that brings the whole group together. Use polls to settle dinner plans. Send event invites and pin messages so no one forgets Mom's 60th. And never miss a meme or milestone. All protected with end-to-end encryption. It's time for WhatsApp. Message privately with everyone. Learn more at whatsapp.com.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Checking off the boxes on your to-do list is a great feeling. And when it comes to checking off coverage, a State Farm agent can help you choose an option that's right for you. Whether you prefer talking in person, on the phone, or using the award-winning app, it's nice knowing you have help finding coverage that best fits your needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Don Le Batard.
Where the motherfucking Ruiz at? Bring his ass on here.
Where's the motherfucker Ruiz is a great question.
Stugotz.
Running, huh? He running today, huh? I'm ready.
This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Let's hear some of the talk about fan behavior.
I don't think we should ever accept that in golf. I think golf should be held to a higher standard than what was seen out there this week. Golf has the ability to unite people. Golf teaches you very good life lessons. It teaches you etiquette. It teaches you how to play by the rules. It teaches you how to respect people. And sometimes this week we didn't see that. So no, this should not be what is acceptable in the Ryder Cup. But, we will be making sure to say to our fans in Ireland in 2027 that, what happened here this week is not acceptable. And it's, for me, it's, come and support your home team. Come and support your team. I think if I was an American, I would be annoyed that I didn't hear a lot of shouts for Scotty today, but I heard a lot of shouts against me. And it's like, support your players.
I mean, the behavior wasn't just bad for the Ryder Cup or golf, even though that's how Rory decided to contextualize it. It was bad. It crossed the line. It was bad for a hockey game. It was bad for a college football game. It wasn't
bad, Mike. Bad for a hockey and college football game.
It was bad.
It's a little. I don't know about that.
It is strange to see in golf, and then they just started trolling Trump through song. So let's listen to some song here as they're enjoying singing their laughter at our president.
Are you watching? Are you watching? Are you watching? Are you watching Donald Trump? Are you watching Donald Trump?
That is a European soccer chant.
That's a nice song.
It is not complimentary the way that Donald Trump took it. I am watching. Bigly, congrats.
I want to talk about some of the things from college football, but I'm going to put them off to the side. And I'm going to just say for a second that Ohio State's goal line defense is the best goal line defense I've ever seen. Their short yardage defense. Washington got to the 1 yard line on Ohio State, and Washington had been 16 for 16 in the red zone with 15 touchdowns. But what Ohio State does to show you the physical advantages they have makes me think of the physical advantages that the Philadelphia Eagles have when I'm watching the game in which, I don't know how you guys measure quarterback play, but one of the reasons that I know that Baker Mayfield is so good is because they put up the stat yesterday during the game, 40 dropbacks, 2 sacks, 18 pressures on Baker Mayfield. And it's like, okay, half the time he does not have time while Jalen Hurts is throwing 2 underhand touchdown passes to Dallas Goedert, because it's just like, here, you grab it, giant Frankenstein guy with bolts in your neck, and you go 3 yards because we're just going to keep mauling people right and left, and you're going to have to change the rules because we're physically stronger than everyone but Detroit.
It's the first time in several years that this happened. The Eagles had no completed passes in the second half of their game. They won by a lot.
Oh, Baker almost did it. And you live by the baker, you die by the baker.
That pick was brutal.
I mean, he was trying to make a play.
It
Yeah,
was tipped, though.
but the elusiveness to get out of the pocket under that kind of pressure and just get the ball off, trying to make a play.
It was it was like third and long, and he ran for it. He picked it up.
That fourth down, like it's just so great to watch him. Like they're down 21, and you just know like Baker's got him where he wants.
I wish he was the Dolphins quarterback.
By the way, I'm sad. Chris Godwin looks like a shell. I know it's his first game back, but he did
fractured his ankle in like 19 places.
Did he give him more than a game?
I know. He's working his way back. I love watching this player. And just
you don't know what you're talking about.
The explosiveness.
Metallica, please.
Hey, that says to golf. You don't get to do that.
I think
you don't get to do that to me.
I think I want him doing that.
No.
I think I like his point.
No, it's childish and amateur, and it's
Anytime
got no
I don't like
place
a take,
in
I'm
this
just
sport. I hate this.
Wait till
Stop
Jeremy
him.
finds it.
Can you stop him? This is bad.
Jeremy Taché is at Heat Media Day. I don't know exactly why. We should be talking about the Marlins. We should be talking about the Panthers. The Dolphins have a Monday night game. Give me the stat of the day music here real quick here, Roy, so that I can just give you a quick stat on the New York Jets-Dolphins game that is tonight that may not be surprising to the rest of you before we go out to Jeremy Taché, but is still funny.
Start of the day, start of the day, it is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day, it is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day, it is the start of the day. Start of the day, start of the day, it is the start of the day.
The last three Jets coaches have started 0-3 or worse.
Waterloo game.
Tyreek Hill skipped practice for family birthday party.
I'm so over him.
That's just like Chris Jones, right?
I'm so over him. I mean, your team's owing. He came into this season talking about how focused he is on football. You know, he is laser focused. Your team is 0-3. And you're skipping the last practice before Monday Night Football against your rival for your parents' birthday celebration. It's a fun event. You have a couple hours to go to practice and then go to the birthday celebration.
I enjoy that Zaz is now picking up these the Stugotz, I'm going to say affliction of not finishing thoughts. Your team is
It's all derivative of Mad Dog Russo. They're all children of Mad Dog.
I don't think that's a real record in the
they're
standings.
All facsimiles,
I don't believe in the standings. It says that the Dolphins are 0-3.
I mean, it's very clear to see the influence here.
Jeremy Taché is at Heat Media Day, so I will ask him the question on everyone's mind locally. How much did you enjoy the Marlins wrecking the Mets season yesterday?
Maybe more than the Marlins actually making the playoffs in 2023, Dan. It was such an incredible moment to watch them just end the Mets, who have 5 times the payroll of the Marlins, and watch all the New Yorkers who now move down to Boca or West Palm Beach ride out sad. It was incredible.
Let's play for Jeremy the sound of bitter Mets broadcasters watching the descent of the Mets season into the final toilet swirl of sewage.
I'm watching the Marlins. They just took a team picture in front of their dugout like they're going to the postseason.
Well, this was their World Series.
Oh,
they took 2 out of 3, knocked the Mets out of the postseason. We saw the Reds celebrating in Milwaukee.
Look at that look of Jeremy as if he's walked into a bathroom that has a bad smell in it.
I mean, maybe if your team played like it was the World Series, you would have made the playoffs instead of losing 2 out of 3 to the Marlins, who technically had nothing to play for in that series outside of upsetting the Mets. And they win 4-0. One of the greatest parts was the bases were loaded and Pete Alonso came up, the guy who's going to leave the Mets this offseason. He opted out of his contract. He hit the hardest ball that the Mets have hit all season, 115.9 miles an hour off the bat, right at Javier Sanoa in left field. Javier Sanoa, who's pitched as many innings as the Marlins scored run yesterday.
Jeremy, I'm going to pin you down here. Obviously, you know who the biggest artist on the planet is. Who is it?
I heard you say Bad Bunny, and
that's the answer.
I understand.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, you did a great job. Hold on a second.
Don't tell me you can't do that to me. I do it to you.
You're gonna handle the credentials of Taylor Swift to pretend like you can laugh at them.
All right, Jeremy. Thank you for joining us from Heat Media.
Well, Dan,
Day.
hold on. Before you send this away, I just wanted you to know I was gonna be on the court. They had me set up to be on the court. When I walked in, people gave me high fives, hugs, everything, and then I said I was at the Le Batard show, and so they decided to put us back here in the freaking garage. So shows how your credentials have dropped out of the planet since we threw knives at Pat Riley.
I in my defense, it's just what was there. I would have thrown knives at Keith Haskins if that were the cutout. I meant no disrespect to Pat Riley. I just needed a target.
Can I see where it is Jeremy is and the glamour and pageantry of where it is that they have put Meadowlark Media, an ascending media company in these troubled media times? Let me look at where it is Jeremy is, because you guys did a close-up there, and it looked like you were at Heat Media Day, but now it just looks like you're in the bowels of the arena. You're amid construction, and there are no other reporters.
This is where Mankind would do his promos.
Yeah, this is where they put me because of you. I was going to be on the court, Dan. I was going to be on the court, and because of you and this mic flag, I'm here.
Okay, we will check back in with you later. We will also.
Did anyone ask about me, Jeremy?
Jeremy, also ask about aspiration while you're out there. See if Pat Riley has any comments on aspiration, please, while you're out there.
Fat chance.
Now's a good time to remember where tequila's story truly began. In 1795, Cuervo invented tequila.
Cuervo.
What are you doing here?
Cuervo. Anytime someone says Cuervo, I show up.
Well, I do know that to be true, but even during ad reads, like...
Cuervo.
I think you could lay out, especially for one of our great partners.
Sweet, delicious Cuervo.
Since then, Cuervo has stayed true to its roots. The same family, the same land, the same passion.
Cuervo.
So, enjoy the tequila that started it all. Cuervo.
Cuervo.
The tequila that invented tequila. Proximo. Cuervo.com. Please drink responsibly.
Cuervo.